She was getting a little bit swollen.
Swollen, my friend. Tony, what a great time you picked to join us.
Yeah, I can't. I'm telling you, as we head now to World's End.
One half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions and the AEW World Champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
MJF's got quite a challenge ahead of him.
Cut my music.
You just can't cut a break.
No, I'll just text it in next time.
Well, he's beat up bad, MJF, and you can tell right there.
Yeah.
Left leg is shot.
The hip all banged up, potentially with a partially torn labrum as well in his left shoulder. MJF is walking into this match with Samoa Joe at World's End on December 30th.
December 30th, Nassau Coliseum, World's End. It will be Samoa Joe versus yours truly for the grandest prize of them all, the Triple B, the AEW World Championship. Now I'm gonna be honest, guys. When it comes to Samoa Joe as a person, I don't like him. But professionally, I respect him. I respect what Samoa Joe's done for this industry, and most of all, I respect the fact when he came in here, he didn't come here to line his pockets. He came here because he believes in those 3 letters. Now, back in the early 2000s, I remember getting a poster in my mailbox. I opened it up and it said TNA Wrestling. And I remember thinking to myself, what's this all about? I tuned in and I couldn't have been happier. I saw insane feats of athleticism. I saw a new cast of professional wrestlers I had never seen or heard of before. But most of all, what I saw was one man amongst the rest, and that was the Samoan submission machine. While Samoa Joe may have looked a little bit unconventional, he didn't seem to care, and neither did any of us, because every time he walked through that curtain, we knew he was the baddest man walking on God's green earth. Now, unfortunately, later on in his career, his talents weren't fully recognized, and he was not afforded the opportunity to be a world champion in WWE. But what Joe did for this sport was bigger than that. Samoa Joe proved you don't have to be a massive male model bodybuilder to be a top guy in this sport. Samoa Joe broke the mold. Samoa Joe proved alternatives matter, and because of the road that Joe paved, it has allowed for a man like me to stand before you today. Without a guy like Joe, there may be no AEW. So Joe, very quickly, what I'd like to say, as much as this all pains me to admit, thank you. Yes, thank you, Joe. However, I've actually, while very grateful to have gone down the road that you paved, Joe, I'm not too shabby myself, now am I? I managed to pave a road of my own. I managed to help build a new alternative. I have been in AEW since day one, and I have helped build this place brick by brick. And I did that by defeating some of the biggest names in this industry. Guys like Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega. But of all the names that I have had to face inside this squared circle, the one name when I look back And I think not only was I lucky to have been victorious, I was lucky to have survived. That be you, Joe. Samoa Joe, you are a wrestling legend. But December 30th is not about your legacy. December 30th is about mine. December 30th is about Ken Max Friedman. Can Max Friedman outlast the final boss of this sport one more time? So now, I'm gonna make a promise. I am going to make a promise to everybody watching at home and to everybody in this arena. Joe, on December 30th, I don't care if my left knee keeps sliding in and out. I don't care if my right hip keeps popping in and out of socket. I don't care if my left shoulder is hanging on by a thread. I don't care if you beat me within an inch of my life. I don't care if you're King Kong and Godzilla incarnate. Because I promised December 30th, Samoa Joe, I am going to show the world in the Nassau Coliseum. It is not about the size of the dog in the fight. It is about the size of the fight in the dog. And if you want to take what's mine, at World's End, you're gonna have to put me down.
Well, MJF fired up, but Samoa Joe, without a doubt, at World's End, the big...
I'm so sick of your Scooby-Doo bullshit. Let me explain something to you. I am not dealing with your crap when I got that guy breathing down my neck at World's End. No. I am going to take out all of your men one by one. I am going to unmask you, you coward. And next week, you want a tag match? Relax. You're on.
Oh,
I don't know if we're back now. We are back, I guess.
Yeah, our audio back online, and there's so much to unpack there. Samoa Joe, he said that he wants MJF walking into World's End as healthy as can be. Joe having the back of our AEW World Champion MJF, but
Who's this tag match against next week? Joe don't even want to be in it.
yeah, Joe wants no part of this, and so much intrigue as we approach World's End. We have more Dynamite to come. Fans, we'll be back in just a few moments with more AEW Dynamite.